in a row. Astros baseball starts right now.
Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Root Sports brings you Houston Astros baseball. On this Saturday night, it's Dallas Keuchel Gnome night. The Astros hope to keep the karma going. They're 3-1 in the homestand as they meet the Toronto Blue Jays. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Alan Ashby, along with Bart Ennis, to talk about an Astros team that is now 10 games above 500, Ash, and playing awfully well.
Yeah, a little bit of a stretch as they lost 3 straight to Texas, went out on the West Coast, managed to split with the Angels, and now they've come back home and really playing good ball. And it's for that combination of reasons that had them playing so well on the West Coast earlier this year. They've got the power game going. They run at will at times. The bullpen has been spectacular, and you throw in some good starting pitching with that, and you're going to pick up some W's.
And that's exactly what they have done the last 3 nights with W's, with a resurgent hitting attack. Some guys have come alive with the bats.
Well, Jose Altuve has been pretty much alive in my book all along, but he's had a little bit of a dry spell recently. But the long ball last night, George Springer tacked on a run with his home run, and Valbuena, the same thing. These guys are getting their good swings. Jason Castro has started to launch a bit for the ball club. Colby Rasmus has had a dose of that here and there, and they've handled the knuckleball. And how about this guy? Preston Tucker looks really good, and he looks like he might be the left fielder quite a bit of the time. Chris Carter mixes in a double last night, and you've got a team that can score some runs and win the games.
Coming up, sigh of relief. Turning weakness into strength is no easy task, but the early bullpen returns indicate the Astros have done just that. We'll show you why the short arm should have you breathing a sigh of relief when we come back. Ayub Ash right outside Minute Maid Park in downtown Houston. And it's been a full day of entertainment. Now the ball game about to begin, and these two teams squaring off for the third time, with the Astros having won the first two from the team that has scored more runs than any other in the American League. But the Astros bullpen has kept them down.
Boy, have they ever. And I'm still looking for my crawfish, but we'll jump into the rest of this anyway. The bullpen, spectacular last night, another dose of that. And especially Will Harris, who came on, a couple of runners aboard, nobody out in the seventh inning. Will Harris just mowed right through the big part of the order. Donaldson, Bautista, and Edwin Encarnacion. And when it was all said and done, that left the eighth and ninth innings to finish up. Josh Fields has closer stuff, no question about it. This bullpen is just lighting it up. They are second best in all of the major leagues, and leading the next best team from the American League, the Yankees, who you see at the bottom of that list, by 70 points in terms of ERA, or actually a little bit more right there. Dodgers, Cardinals, Mets, Yankees, and Royals all on that list. And Brownie can tell you all about the fact. Well, I'll go ahead and do it. I'll steal it from you.
Do it.
6 teams leading their divisions with those top bullpens.
Those are glittering numbers. The Astros bullpen performance is powered by Kubota. There you see some outstanding numbers. Can they keep doing it? Coming up, staying power. The Astros are feasting on Blue Jays pitching so far this series. Do the bats have enough staying power to keep it going through the weekend? Ash and I will have all the action in just a few minutes.
Astros will try to win a game tonight and take this series. If they get it done, it'll be their 7th series win of the season. And we're expecting a very good crowd, as Bill and Alan said, the Bayou Bash going on across the street, all those people making their way in. But we're also going to have over 1,000 active military members here, as well as veterans and their families, for Military Appreciation Night, sponsored by the Astros and Whataburger as well. A lot of fun for the Astros to do this for the veterans. They're honoring veterans at every home game this year, and Military Appreciation Night is something that they just absolutely love to do. So before tonight's game, we had the ceremonial first pitch being thrown out right there by Corporal Josh Yarborough of the U.S. Marine Corps. Corporal Yarborough is a third-generation Marine, served 3 deployments in Iraq, Okinawa, the Philippines, and Afghanistan. And it was in that last deployment in Afghanistan that Corporal Yarborough suffered the loss of both of his legs and his right index finger in the act of saving one of his fellow Marines from an EID explosion. We also had several members of the military taking place in the flag-waving ceremony out in the outfield during the national anthem. And then in the 7th inning tonight, during the 7th inning stretch, Sergeant Promise Harris of the 147th Reconnaissance Wing of the Texas Air National Guard will perform God Bless America during that 7th inning stretch. So a lot to look forward to today. We're going to go up in the stands and talk to some of these military folks, as this is a chance for all of us to express our gratitude and our appreciation for what they have done for this country and for all of the rest of us. And you know, when you talk to these baseball players and you talk to them about so many military members being here tonight, they all either have family members or neighbors or friends who have served in the military, and they are just thrilled that when these people have time back in the States, they want to come watch them play baseball, and they are more than happy to sign autographs, take pictures, whatever. So it's a big night for everybody, and we're looking forward to get up in the crowd and talking to some of these folks. And it looks like Scott Feldman is just about ready to go now, guys.
Yes, he is, Bart. Thank you. And this Toronto Blue Jay team has slipped to 17-20 with 5 losses in the last 6 games. 1-4 so far on the road trip. John Gibbons has put together this starting lineup. Second baseman Devin Travis leads it off. It's Josh Donaldson at third base, batting second. The DH Jose Bautista brings his home run bat to the number 3 spot in the order. The catcher Russell Martin is the cleanup man tonight, with Justin Smoke at first base, Chris Colabello in left field, Kevin Pillar in center, Ezekiel Carrera in right, Ryan Goins is the shortstop, and the pitcher will be Marco Estrada.
On the mound for the Astros tonight, right-hander Scott Feldman, and just 2-4 on the year. Lost his last time out despite pitching very well in Anaheim against the Angels. 7 innings, quality baseball in that one, trying to get it turned back around, going in the right direction. Lifetime against the Blue Jays, 2-4 in 8 starts, 14 games overall. He will throw strikes. He has walked just 7 on his season. That's 1.5 per 9 innings.
Devin Travis is ready to go. Travis takes, and it's ball 1. Clint Fagan is the home plate umpire. Travis had 271 with 7 homers. Has 26 runs batted in. He is 2 for 9 with an RBI in this series. That one is fouled, and it's a 1-1 strike count to Devin Travis, who was the American League Rookie of the Month in April. Boy, he had quite a month. 21 runs batted in a year ago for him in April, May, and June combined in Double-A. And this year he had more April runs batted in than Miguel Cabrera or Mike Trout. As a major league player, 1 and 2, taking over at second base as a .338 on base average. Travis hit a grand slam. 23 runs batted in his first 24 games. And that's the most in Blue Jays history for that kind of a portion of the season to start a career. In fact, the 23 runs batted in, the most by a major league second baseman in the first 24 games of his career in at least 100 years.
That's a pretty good stat line right there.
It is. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Oakland threw a close one.
A lot of times it's a coin flip. Did it, didn't it? That one didn't, just off the edge.
Travis fights it off. Travis was drafted by Detroit in 2012 in the 13th round. He went to Florida State. Toronto got him in a deal last November for center fielder Anthony Gose,
who, by the way, has really blossomed as a major league center fielder.
He is hitting well this year. Struck him out, and Feldman, after a battle, gets a punch out to open the game.
Defensively for the Astros tonight, and that's been a big part of their game. Preston Tucker, get used to that name being in left field. Colby Rasmussen, George Springer in the outfield on the left side. Luis Valbuena and Marwin Gonzalez, right side of the infield. Jose Altuve and Chris Carter behind the plate. It is Jason make that ping ponger tonight with Scott Feldman.
Josh Donaldson continues to reach base against the Houston Astros in every game, 33 in a row. Donaldson, one of the top threats in this Blue Jay lineup, but there are several. He looks at a cutter, and it's strike 1 to a .310 hitting Donaldson with 8 homers, 25 runs batted in, 2 for 8 with an RBI in this series. Donaldson hits it up the right field line toward the corner. A long run for George Springer. That ball is dropping and going deep into the corner. Here's Donaldson legging into second base with a 1-out double, his 9th of the year. 34 games in a row Donaldson has reached against the Astros.
Heck of an offensive player. And we saw defensively going way down the left field line to catch a pop-up last night. He can play. And it was a surprise deal with the Oakland A's. Allowed this guy to land in a Toronto Blue Jays uniform. George Springer obviously playing well off the line as this ball was hit.
Now the 5-time All-Star Jose Bautista bats. Bautista looks at a curve in the dirt for ball one. Bautista, a .226 hitter with 6 homers, has driven in 19. 2 for 6 with a home run in this series and a couple of walks. Bautista hit 35 home runs last season. He had a high of 54 homers in 2010. That cuts in for a strike, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Bautista is 6 for 16 in his career, including a homer off Feldman. Last time Scott faced this Toronto club was August 3rd of 2014 here, and he had a complete game 6-1 win. He pounds that one in for strike 2. Donaldson, who has scored 27 runs, is on at second base. He's tied with Mike Trout for the league's top spot in runs scored, and Jacoby Ellsbury, Kendrys Morales as well.
You know that you mentioned the 54 home runs by Bautista back in 2010. The most he had ever hit in a season prior to that was 16.
That's a crazy increase just off the plate. 2 and 2. To what does he attribute the big increase?
Well, probably his answer would be getting a chance to play every day. And there's certainly a lot of truth there. The year before he played 113 games. But with the Pirates, he had a 142 game played season.
This one gets away. Conger unable to corral it, and that is an opportunity for Donaldson to move to third base. Looked like it was off Hank's mitt, which would probably lead the official score to lean toward pass ball, but we'll see what he rules. It's a wild pitch. It did bounce apparently.
Well, let's get our peek at it. I believe it's a fastball, and that fastball's tough. You start thinking as a catcher you might be able to pick it, but it's just an approach that when it's all said and done you'd love to have over.
It did skip in the dirt. That's the 6th wild pitch for Feldman. And with 1 out, the infielders lay back. Bautista takes a walk. That's his 24th of the year, and Russell Martin will follow. Martin was rested in game 1 of this series Thursday night. Part of the reason Toronto arrived and got to bed about 4 a.m. coming in from Baltimore in a night game the night before. Martin last night was 0 for 4. He checks in at .278 with 7 bombs and 19 runs batted in.
Signs being flashed out by Hank Conger to the infield, acknowledging what is going to take place if that runner from first base, Bautista, takes off.
He's taken off twice this year on steal attempts, and he's been caught once. Way outside, there's ball 1 to Martin. Canadian-born player who was a 17th round draft pick of the Dodgers in 2002. Martin is now 32 years old and beginning a 5-year contract for $82 million with the Jays. In the air, foul, and out of play. 1-1. Clean up hitting catcher Russell Martin.
Turned himself into a whale of a player. Just thinking a Canadian-born player playing in Toronto now. $84 million, U.S. or Canadian?
Not sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's U.S. on that one, but never know.
In the dirt, Conger keeps it close enough to prevent any further advance. It's 2 balls and a strike. How do players choose to get paid when they play in Toronto?
I think I'm not sure that you could come off the 100% figure toward U.S. currency on that one.
All right.
There were some years though recently, not too far back, where the Canadian dollar was was higher to even considerably higher than the U.S. dollar.
Tap foul, third base side, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. And aren't they taxed in both countries?
Yeah, but I think you get a credit toward, if you live in the U.S., for example, I think you credit back a certain amount. That so in the end run, I think that the players wind up paying about the same figure.
We're getting a note that all contracts are paid in American currency. It's out to right center field. Toronto hits the scoreboard first. And it's going to be a 2-run double for Martin, or maybe a triple. He's going to stretch it out for third, and no relay throw. 2-run triple for Russell Martin, his first triple with the Blue Jays. That gives him 21 runs batted in, and it's a 2-run lead.
Yeah, part of hitting is finding the right spots, and the Blue Jays have done that here in the inning. The double by Donaldson, really just a fly ball down the right field side. And this a perfectly placed gapper. Russell Martin, extremely valuable now to the Blue Jays. Hey, you can see for a catcher, he doesn't run too poorly.
The infield shifts around and stays back with 1 out and a runner at third here for Justin Smoak, the former Texas Ranger, taking, and there's ball 1 to Smoak. Smoak at 191 has 2 homers, 6 runs batted in. 28-year-old switch hitter from Goose Creek, South Carolina, the University of South Carolina. Ever been to Goose Creek, Ash?
That's one of the hot spots of the world I've missed to this point, but sure to make it there.
1 ball, 1 strike. Hot spot.
Well, you know, we've got lovely MC here in the booth. She chose to go to Paris. Imagine that, when she could have gone to Goose Creek.
Somehow I didn't see Goose Creek as a hot spot. 2 balls and a strike.
You have not been reading the internet.
Smoak drove in 30 for Seattle last year at 248 at bats. That one's missing, and it's 3-1. Smoak was a first-round pick of the Rangers in 08, the 11th player drafted. Saturday night crowd watching, and Toronto has drawn first blood here. Blue Jays have scored 195 this year. That's ripped on a line into right field. That'll make it 3-0 Toronto. And Smoak on the 3-1 pitch lit it up for RBI number 7.
Well, I guess one way to look at this is early motivation for the Astros hitters. High fastball just gets pummeled into right field. It's really staying behind it.
Brent Strom comes out for a mound visit. Feldman trying to figure something out with Conger before facing Colabello. Struck out Travis, then Donaldson doubled into the right field corner, advanced to third on a wild pitch. Bautista walking, Martin a 2-run triple, Smoak an RBI single.
You know, when you go out to make a start on any given night, the last person you want to speak to on the hill during that first inning or at any point is the pitching coach.
You know that. Strike to Colabello. He's gone 18 for 38 in 9 games since being called up from AAA. 4 for 8 with an RBI in this series for Chris, former Minnesota Twin. That stays up, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
Strike. Here we go. Come on now.
Colabello's hit .333 against Houston, pitching for his career. 9 for 27 with 2 homers, 6 runs batted in. Chris was signed out of a tryout camp by Detroit in 06. Played some independent ball. Interesting background.
Oh boy.
Foul ball takes it to a 1-ball, 2-strike count.
I did some managing a couple of years independent ball, and there are some players that play in those independent leagues that are certainly capable of moving on into and through professional baseball.
Yeah, the 30 professional teams can't pluck everybody who's capable, right? In the draft or through free agent signings. They'll miss a few.
And there are guys that get released, maybe prematurely, that really want to prove something.
And there are guys like Ricky Henderson who play independent ball just because they don't want to retire. In the air on the infield. Carter and Altuve going for it. Altuve has it. 2 outs.
So I think you need to get an independent team, get Ricky, Manny, and Jose Canseco all on the same club. And I imagine there's a promotion in there you might be able to come up with.
You know that. Kevin Pillar's the batter with a .246 average. 1 homer, 15 runs batted in. Pillar 1 for 7 in this series. This Toronto club can really put together some crooked numbers on the scoreboard, as it already has done, but also can give them up. There is strike 1. Marco Estrada has already been spotted with a nice lead. For the season, Toronto has scored 196 and allowed 180. As the highest ERA in the American League, 4.73. Foul back, and it's 0-2. The loonie is down by almost 20% against the U.S. dollar over the past year, Ash.
Of course, I imagine most of our fans know what a loonie is, right?
Doubt it. Foul back.
Well, there's a loonie and a toonie.
Okay.
And they
so put it together, it's Looney Tunes? Or what?
It certainly sounds that way.
Okay.
The loonie, I believe, is the $1 coin.
Oh.
And the toonie is the $2 coin. If I'm recalling right, it's been a few years now.
You still have any lying around in a drawer somewhere?
Oh, I invest my toonies.
Oh, okay. Swing and a miss. Carter scrambles for it, and the strikeout will end it in the top of the first inning. 3 runs scoring on 3 hits with a man left. Toronto 3, Houston coming up. Starting lineup is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. For A.J. Hinch, who turned 41 yesterday. The Astros giving him a birthday present. Jose Altuve is his leadoff man and second baseman. Luis Valbuena at second and third base. Then it's right fielder George Springer, DH Evan Gattis, left fielder Preston Tucker, center fielder Colby Rasmus, first baseman Chris Carter, catcher Hank Conger, and shortstop Marwin Gonzalez.
On the mound for the Blue Jays tonight, Marco Estrada out of Long Beach State. 8 games already on the year, a couple of starts, and a 1-2 record. ERA not bad at 3.54. Astros need to find a way to get to this young right-hander.
He is 1-0 lifetime against Houston with that 3.04 ERA you see there in the bottom. And it's Jose Altuve in the box ready to go on a 3-game hitting streak. It's been a powerful Altuve, but he pops this one up to shallow left field. Goins is back underneath it and calling. 1 pitch, 1 out for Estrada.
Defensively for Toronto this evening in the outfield left to right, Chris Colabello, Kevin Pillar, and Ezekiel Carrera. On the infield, the left side, Josh Donaldson and Ryan Goins. On the right side, Devin Travis and Justin Smokin behind the dish. It is Russell Martin who's made his presence with the bat already.
Luis Valbuena. And it must be warm and sultry out there about now with that sun popping out. We haven't seen a whole lot of that this week. Valbuena's on a 3-game hitting streak. Hit his 9th homer last night. A second decker in right field. There's strike 1 to a 203 hitting Valbuena. With his 9 long balls, he's driven in 15. Estrada's 31 years old in July. Throws a strike there. No balls and 2 strikes, and came from that pedigreed program in college of Long Beach State. Troy Tulowitzki and that gang. He was born in Sonora, Mexico. Came up with Washington.
Yeah, this already the 10th appearance on his career against the Astros.
And a couple of those outings really good with Milwaukee back in 2012. 8 shutout innings in Milwaukee to beat Dallas Keuchel in September of 2012. He struck out 11, giving up 4 hits in 8 innings on that occasion. Foul back by Valbuena, and he had another good start that year against Bud Norris in Milwaukee in July of 2012. He gave up 2 earned runs in 7 innings, so the Astros have not found him to be anything other than a tough competitor.
Yeah, right-hand batters have found the same story this year, hitting 162, the lefties 275. So
that's out to center field. A late start that loops in for a hit, and Pillar will pick it up as Valbuena arrives at first. Our TXU Energy power player is George Springer, finding his power stroke over the past few games.
He's got a power stroke. There is no question about it. This was the rifle line shot for the home run in left center field to help win a ball game. This one didn't hurt last night either. To right center field. Tremendous pop. George Springer, is he starting to find it on a little more consistent basis? When he does, he is going to just light up the major leagues.
Valbuena does not have much of a lead at first as Springer bats. And it's outside to George. Ball 1 to a 193 hitting Springer with 6 homers. 15 runs batted in. He has walked 20 times. And Maul loves Astros tickets.
She must be talking about her own grandma, right?
Well, she's already here. She's already trolling for more tickets for next game. Change up, and it's 1-1.
Plan ahead, Brownie.
Okay. Nothing like it. We have a few months left in the baseball season. Why not go for it?
We're to that point already?
We are. Getting close to the quarter pole. This is game number 37, Ash. You know all these things. 1-2 to Springer.
A couple of what appear to be change-ups there had Springer waving out in front.
Yeah, he has a good one. And he throws his change this year 36% of the time, Ash.
Well, you can see why. Very effective, and he's holding another one right now.
In the dirt for Martin. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Estrada tops out about 90 or so. But with that changeup in the high 70s, that's a nice differential, Ash.
You get that great view from center field, glancing in the glove, and you can see the fingers placed on the baseball, and he gets it in those last 3 fingers of the right hand.
Springer has 2 homers in his 3 games since he came off the concussion list. Looks at strike 3 for out number 2.
After seeing the changeup a few times, that fastball will jump on you even at 89 miles an hour. And Springer caught looking right here. Was it valid? Yes, it was.
Evan Gattis with 6 homers, 18 runs batted in, a 183 batting average. We'll give Estrada a try here in the first. He is 0 for 3 lifetime against Marco. Evan 1 for 4 last night. Second on the club in runs batted in. Behind you-know-who, Jose Altuve. Gattis looks at it, and it's ball 1. Estrada was 7-6 last year, and he gave up 29 homers for Milwaukee in 150 innings. That was the most in the National League. Off his glove, out to Travis, and he didn't pick it up. It almost hit the base runner Valbuena, and that is an infield hit for Evan Gattis. Jeff Kellogg gave a safe sign there at second.
Evan Gattis, as well as some other hitters on the Astros, could stand catching a break, and this is catching one right here. Sometimes you wonder as a pitcher, is it worth the effort to go up and just barely get leather on it? In this case, it certainly wasn't. Nice job by Valbuena.
Almost hit him, but it did not.
What is his responsibility right there? Well, don't run into the infielder. Other than that, get on by and find yourself safe at second base.
And Jeff Kellogg, the crew chief, the umpire at second there, gave the safe sign indicating that Valbuena had done nothing wrong as a base runner to hinder Travis's attempt to field that ball.
Even if you get in the way of the baseball and block the view of it, you haven't done anything wrong, unless, as you say, Brownie, you hinder the infielder.
Now it's Preston Tucker. Tucker with a .333 average, has 4 doubles already. He's driven in 3. Hey, strike 1 to Tucker. And the 4 doubles is the most ever recorded by an Astros player within his first 6 games in the majors. Glenn Davis in '84 and Jonathan Villar in 13 had the previous record. They had 3 doubles in their first 6 games. It's in for a strike, and quickly 0-2 on the rookie Preston Tucker.
That's borderline there at the knees. And change up, fastball, the sequence, and if you're hitting, what do you start looking for here? Well, that's ideally placed by any pitcher.
Tucker is 5 for 8 in this series. Takes a ball, 1-2. He has walked 3 times. He has struck out twice. That's the nice kind of balance the Astros would love to see him continue for a while, with Colby Rasmus on deck.
See how that glove is closed off to our view?
Changeup got him.
Yeah.
And the strikeout ends the Astros first with no run scoring on 2 hits, 2 men left, 3-0 Toronto.
allowing us to have the freedoms and everything that we enjoy here at home.
Hey guys, just want to thank all the military, home and abroad. If it wasn't for you guys protecting and serving our country, we wouldn't be able to play the game we love. And with that, we thank you very much.
Heartfelt thoughts on this night to honor the military. 3-0 the Blue Jays leading the Astros after 1. Ezequiel Carrera leads it off in the second inning against Scott Feldman. Carrera takes a look at the first pitch here, and it's ball 1. 333, no homers, 8 runs batted in. Blue Jays got 3 runs on 3 hits, including a 2-run triple by Russell Martin in the first. Swing and a miss there by Carrera takes the count to 1-1. Carrera is 27 years old. He's from Venezuela. He's been with Cleveland, Philadelphia, and Detroit in the big leagues. Bunting, he misses. And it's 1-2. Big inning here for Scott Feldman after the Blue Jays came out swinging the bats and got the 3 spot on him as he tries to stay in this game, regroup, give his offense a chance to strike. And the Astros did have 2 men on in the first, and he gets a punch out of Carrera. That's number 3.
That over-the-top curveball could be quite a weapon for Scott. And then you add to that the perfect placement with that one.
Scott's 32 years old. 8-12 last year in his first year with the Astros with a 3.74 ERA. After the All-Star break last year, his ERA was 3.16. Ryan Goins, 234, has driven in 6. He's from Round Rock, Texas. That is strike 1. Goins playing shortstop for the injured Jose Reyes. Reyes could be back in another week or so, according to some of the reports. Goins is 0 for 5 in this series. And he steps away. Goins had a 3-hit game at Baltimore in the series before this one. Ryan was a 4th-round pick in 09. Bouncer, and good job by Feldman. He had to reach back across his body and turn that into out number 2 on a sharply hit ball up the middle.
Follow the Astros all season with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment, at any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at Bat for your smartphone or tablet.
2 outs, and it's Travis now. Travis takes a look at strike 1. Toronto had 6 rookies on the opening day roster this season. Travis, one of 3 current rookies. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. They had a rookie closer when the season started. Had a rookie center fielder, Dalton Pompey, and they've both been demoted. Little chop goes foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and yet Toronto was highly regarded because of the changes the Blue Jays had made over the winter, bringing in players like Russell Martin and Josh Donaldson.
Those 2 players by themselves make a tremendous upgrade.
2-2. What do you think of their club overall to this point?
Well, I'll say this. If you insert Jose Reyes at shortstop and as the leadoff man for the ball club, I think it turns them around enormously. Now, whether they have enough starting pitching or bullpen for that matter to make it work, I don't know.
Deep drive to right field. Springer sprints back. It's over his head. It's off the base of the wall. He plays it perfectly. Now he drops it. It gets away from him. And on the warning track, he picks it up and gets it back into Altuve. It's a double for Travis, and then an error on Springer, his 3rd. He played the carom perfectly, but then the ball slipped out of his hand, and Travis wound up at 3rd base with 2 outs.
He's driving it pretty well. If you get it over the head of George Springer, you've really done something. It primarily takes some form of line drive, but at that point, you know, this is kind of what we saw a little bit from George last year when he did make errors. they came from unusual circumstances, trying to pick up the baseball, maybe just having something go wrong with the throw, as we see here.
20th error for the Astros this season. Runner at third now, 2 outs for Donaldson, who doubled to right. And that's ball 1. Colby Rasmus a step toward left center field for Donaldson. In for a strike, 1-1. Gary Pettis is the outfield coach and the base running coach, in addition to the third base coach for the Astros. We were talking about how outfielders get their grip on the baseball for a throw before the game last night. That's in for a strike, 1-2. They try to get the same grip that a pitcher uses on a four-seam fastball, but as they pick the ball out of their glove, he said they sometimes have to spin it in their hand to get that grip before releasing the throw.
Well, the same's true for a catcher. He wants the four-seam straight true throw to second base. And it's a very quick spin if you can get it done. A lot of times you just can't get that done.
Could that possibly have been the problem for George?
I was wondering, as George, maybe his body was lined up a little bit too much toward the left field corner, for example. And as he was trying to turn and throw back, could that ball have hit his right thigh?
I wondered that too. Didn't see it on the replay. Off the plate. 3-2.
See if we can get any kind of peek. See, the body's kind of angled a bit beyond the left field side of third base, maybe, and so you're trying to turn back and throw. And did the ball catch the thigh? Tough to make that determination.
Donaldson coaxes a walk. That's number 2 for Feldman. Runners at first and third, 2 outs for Bautista now.
Donaldson's got the cool worked out pretty well there on drawing the walk.
Bautista with that walk and the run scored in the first inning, fitting in between the double by Donaldson and the triple by Martin. Just a really important man to this club. And defensively, with a big time arm in right field, he can't play that position right now. His shoulder is getting better after hurting it on a throw earlier this season. Not quite there yet as far as returning and getting out of the DH spot, becoming the right fielder. In the dirt for ball 1. We're talking, Ash, after the inning about that infield hit. Evan Gattis hit that ball off the pitcher's glove. Estrada slowed it down, and Valbuena was almost hit by the ball. Phil Boudreau pointing out that once the pitcher has an opportunity to field it as he did, then if the runner had been hit by the batted ball, he wouldn't have been out, as I said, because the ball had been touched by a fielder prior to that.
You know, that's a really intriguing play, and I bet you could fool a lot of current major league players, former major league players, with that assessment.
Yeah. That's a little roller. Feldman over. Takes it over to Carter. No runs, a hit, 1 error, 2 men left. Feldman came up with a big play on the Goins grounder, 3-0. Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Orbit out with the Bayou Bashers before the game tonight.
He's got some moves, doesn't he?
He does have moves. Orbit has been busting moves for years. Just back from the International Space Station recently.
Speaks a little Russian, I hear.
3-0, Toronto leads it. Former Toronto outfielder Colby Rasmus batting. And taking a breaking pitch high. Ball one. Colby at 223 has 6 homers. He's driven in 13. His last 21 games, he has an OPS of 778. He lets that one go high, and it's 2-0. And back to that play on the Gaddis infield hit. It says a fair ball touches the runner in fair territory before touching a fielder, and he's out.
And that's the basic rule that all players, I think, understand. However, you mixed in a little something different there after the pitcher touched the ball.
Yeah. It says if a fair ball goes through or by an infielder and touches a runner immediately back of him, or touches the runner after having been deflected by a fielder, which was the case, the umpire shall not declare the runner out for being touched by a batted ball. In the air to left center field, and Colabello weaves his way in for round number 1.
Well, if I may pursue that, is the pitcher considered a fielder in that, in that ruling? Yes.
Yes. Some pitchers, however, do not consider themselves as fielders.
Well, I don't consider a lot of pitchers fielders, so we could go on that premise very easily. But, you know, under that scenario, any manager could and maybe should be telling his players, if that pitcher tips the ball, if you have the chance to react to it, let the ball hit you then, because my understanding from what you read is that that would be a fair play at that point.
Hadn't thought of it, but it is a point. If in the judgment of the umpire the runner deliberately and intentionally kicks such a batted ball on which the infielder has missed a play, then the runner shall be called out for interference. So don't kick it.
Yeah.
Just let it hit you.
There's a terminology that could come back to bite you.
0-2 to Carter. Carter, 155 hitter with 5 homers, 13 runs batted in. Sydney's having a special night.
Wow. I hope she's going to share that cake.
That's gorgeous. Carter's down on a changeup. It's strikeout number 3 for Estrada.
So did Reggie Jackson intentionally let that ball hit him in the World Series?
Well, he stuck his leg out.
He certainly did. Well, that changeup gets by some bats. That's a lot of body going on in delivering the pitch with that glove and arm going straight up.
It is. I was going to ask you about that. Throws that glove out in front of him up in the air. Hank Conger, the batter. What would that do for you to hinder your opportunity to see that baseball out of his hand, if anything?
I guess hitters talk about seeing the ball well or not seeing it well off of certain guys, and I would believe that a lot of hitters would say maybe you don't pick it up extremely well against him. Although the home run figures you talked about would probably say otherwise. Although he gave up a lot of home runs while pitching in Milwaukee, and that's a pretty good launching pad.
1-1 to Conger. Bernie the Brewer takes the slide many times. 1-2. Conger at 185 has 2 homers. He's driven in 3. Well, Estrada came to Toronto last November in the Adam Lind trade. That's worked out extremely well for Milwaukee. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I'm going to wager that slide you mentioned has been resurfaced a few times.
Estrada was the long man in the bullpen when the season started, and the young lefty Daniel Norris, who is now in the minors, was in the rotation. That's a close one to Conger, and it's 3-2.
So close that Russell Martin starts shaking his head back there.
Off the plate, Conger draws a 2-out walk. That's the first walk for Estrada. He'll face Marwin Gonzalez next. Marwin and Jonathan Villar sharing the shortstop position right now. Getting roughly equal playing time the last several days. Marwin at .233 has 1 homer and 9 runs batted in. Jed Lowry continues to come out to the ballpark daily to say hello to his teammates. He has his right thumb in a cast, so he can't do any working out yet. Hoping for a return in July. Changeup, strike 1. Meanwhile, Carlos Correa, after being promoted a few days ago from AA Corpus Christi to AAA Fresno, has hit in all 5 games with the AAA club, including a single last night off LaTroy Hawkins, who's on an injury rehab assignment for the Colorado Rockies for their AAA club. In the air, and let's see if there's a play on it. Martin over near the screen, reaching up, and he does make a play on it to end the 2nd inning with the score 3-0 Toronto.
Years. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in true HD on over 400 devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and more. Blackout and other restrictions do apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. You know, talking to A.J. Hinch before today's game, you might notice that Jake Marisnick getting the day off. He said, hey, it's about getting Jake a day off, but it's also about getting Preston Tucker in the lineup again and more at-bats. He made it clear that with 3 outfielders, all of whom have experience playing center field, that allows him to move guys around a little bit and keep Tucker on the field. They want to ride that hot bat as long as they can, and Tucker can play the corner outfield. He can DH, but they're going to have to get kind of creative, finding ways to keep Preston on the field as long as he's hot, guys.
Strike 1 to Russell Martin, who ripped a 2-run triple to the right center field gap in the 1st inning. It's a nightly juggling act for A.J. Hinch with that lineup. A.J. explained that with Marisnick getting this night off, the lefty will be facing the Astros tomorrow, Toronto's Mark Burley. And then Drew Pomeranz of Oakland is scheduled to pitch Monday here, another southpaw against the Astros. Marisnick would be in the lineup for those two. There might be a 3rd lefty pitching in the Oakland series against the Astros in the next few days. There's a ball hit out to center field for Rasmus. 1 out. So, yeah, it is a rotation of sorts. It's a matchup game of sorts. It's a rest people kind of a situation, but just a daily challenge for the manager to get the best people according to the numbers and his feel of the players in that starting lineup. Ash,
look, the Astros are the kind of club right now, and I'm saying with their record that you have to start considering today a whole lot, but at the same time you also have to consider tomorrow. And Preston Tucker looks really good for both today and tomorrow right now, the way he's playing.
He does. Justin Smoke takes strike one. He ripped the RBI single to right on a 3-1 count in the first inning. The Blue Jays in their last 4 road series have not won any of them. They've lost 3 and split 1. In for a strike, 0-2. They are beginning the day 4 games out of first place. The Yankees occupy that spot in the AL East, and they're tied for 4th with Baltimore. Swing and a miss, and Smoke is strikeout number 4.
Our Geico quote of the day comes from Jeff Luno, talking about the decision to call up Lance McCullers for Monday's game. It gives us a chance to win ball games right now in Houston, and we're going to take advantage of it. And here's the other part. If he pitches well, you start thinking about tomorrow as well, and guys start slotting in, and this is a talented young bunch now coming together.
He was from the draft class of 2012, the first one under Jeff Luno's general managership. Chris Colabello is the batter. Foul back to strike one. Bobby Heck was the scouting director. Mike Elias was on the scene in that 2012 draft, and already producing big league fruits 3 years later. Preston Tucker was in that 2012 draft, so come Monday night, if Tucker's in the lineup, which may not be against the lefty Pomeranz, 2 guys from that 2012 draft class would be playing.
Well, there's still some pretty low-hanging fruit out there.
Yeah, there is. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, you had the quote from Jeff a moment ago, 2-1, but McCullers, even though he was dominant at AA, had been promoted to AAA, and then the Astros needed a starter in this spot Monday night with Brett Oberholzer on the disabled list, looked at all the internal options and decided that was the best one for now. Swinging a curveball, and it's 2-2 to Colabello.
Ultimately, when you look at the Super 2s and all the stuff that goes on with contract issues, McCullers is no different than Carlos Correa or anybody else for that matter. I think some could probably view that. Well, I guess there are different ways you could look at all that, pitcher versus position player, but it's going to be intriguing to see what happens.
Struck him out. That's number 5 for Feldman, who has righted the ship. It's 3-0 Toronto in the 3rd. In Major League Baseball, serving in the U.S. Army in World War II. One of those many professional baseball players who served his country during that time. We are honoring military personnel here tonight. And he gave up a good portion of his Hall of Fame career to serve, and serve proudly, and was wounded in World War II. Warren Spahn.
You know, he was a great pitcher. You look at his numbers, lifetime wins versus losses, phenomenal stuff. Also look at what he did with the bat. He hit a load of home runs. He's one of the all-time leaders as a pitcher with home runs.
He was in the Battle of the Bulge, and there was at the bridge at Remagen during that famous battle. Jose Altuve leads it off, home third inning. He popped a short first time up. That's ball one to Altuve. There were so many more from World War II. Hank Greenberg and Bob Feller, Ted Williams, of course. So many players. Yogi Berra, we talked about him the other night, who gave up years of their careers. In the air, foul. Smoke comes over, but it's back into the crowd, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. The Astros haven't thought themselves out of a game. They've been thumped a few times, but the way they've been winning with the late inning comebacks, if they can stay close, they feel good. 1-2 the count. They had 2 men on when the first inning ended on a Tucker strikeout. Estrada has been pulling the string on that changeup tonight.
Yeah, how many people would pick the name Warren Spahn when asked which left-hander won more games than any other?
363. Pitched until he was what, about 43, Ash?
I think so. He went on pitching after that. I had him as a pitching coach in Cleveland, and he'd throw some batting practice. He did not want you to get a hit.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
He would toss the soon-to-be Fernando Valenzuela screwball at you.
Wow. That is a compliment. Altuve grounds one foul. The Toronto Blue Jays telecast team, Buck Martinez and Pat Tabler, both great guys, were on the field during batting practice, and they asked to be introduced to Altuve. And you know, he's reached that status now. People want to meet him. People who have been around the game for a long time. They just appreciate what he's done so much. He looks at a ball, 3-2, and in fact, this year, he's the only leadoff man to have 4 games of 3 runs batted in. Nobody else has more than 2 among all the leadoff men. So here he is, not only with one of the top batting averages, but leading his club in runs batted in and 10th in the league with 24.
You know, we get to watch him every day, and I think we still get surprised by some of the things he can do with the bat. But I have to tell you, that double play he turned last night was as quick as any I've ever seen around this game.
That was lightning. He's aboard for Luis Valbuena. Valbuena singled to center field in the first inning. It was so surprising to us that when Valbuena threw the ball to Altuve last night, we thought he would not attempt a relay throw to first base. It would just be a force out at second, and he got the double play. And he attracts a throw here. He has 13 steals in 17 attempts. He's tied for the league lead in stolen bases. The Astros have a 5-game winning streak over the Blue Jays. Their all-time record against Toronto is 14-8. They're 10-2 against them here at Minute Maid Park. In the air to left center field. Pilar's calling. Altuve tagging at first. Here's the catch, and he will hold as the throw comes in right on line. 1 out.
And now for our pitch-by-pitch, brought to you by Steel Dealers. George Springer in his first at bat of the night. That came in the first inning. George with the 1-1 count. That fastball under the strike zone. They came back. And then the fastball, after seeing a couple of changeups, George got caught looking at it right there at the knees. George gets another shot, and I guarantee is swimming through his mind right now is fastball or changeup. Which way do I turn?
Springer struck out in that at bat, first time up. There is strike one. Well, Glenn Davis was your teammate when Glenn came to the big leagues. with the Astros.
You're referring to the Big Bopper?
The Big Bopper. How do you think George Springer's home run numbers through 108 Major League games compare to Glenn Davis?
Wow, what a great question. Well, 20 last year, and so now we're talking 25?
26.
26. Always behind the times. How about I guess that George Springer's ahead?
You are correct, sir. Glenn Davis had 21 in his first 108 games.
I love when I win. That's a bit surprising.
This one gets away, and Altuve advances on that pitch in the dirt. Russell Martin couldn't locate it. Pitch was ball one.
You know, I think when Glenn Davis was playing, if his name was mentioned as we watched the ball in the dirt and Altuve and his great reactions, Martin just never got the glove all the way down, and that enabled Altuve to move up. But when people thought of Glenn Davis, I think they thought of home runs. I think when they think of George Springer, there are some who think of strikeouts. And yet the home run has been a big part of his game.
Now time is called, and Martin, it looks like Estrada is exasperated the way he came off the mound and walked in. Maybe not, but the body language seemed to indicate that, you know, a lot of times, as you are well aware, Ash, the pitcher gets into a certain rhythm and he feels like he's being slowed down.
There's another aspect that comes up a lot of times. Pitchers get very concerned about signs being stolen at second base, and so they'll say, let's switch to such and such set of signs, and you basically as a catcher try to accommodate.
Altuve takes off for third. It's a foul ball. Martin came up, and he's just looking down there now. Altuve sliding in on the foul ball by Springer.
Russell Martin was getting ready to come firing out on this one, but Altuve, boy, the wheels were just rolling. Look at him go. He actually beat the start there by the right-handed pitcher Estrada.
He's challenging a man who's thrown out 46% of the men trying to steal. Martin has gunned down 12 so far this year. Travis close to the bag at second. Springer fouls it back, and runs batted in for the first 108 games with the Astros. The only Astros with more than Springer were Chris Truby, 77, compared to George's 66. Glenn Davis had 70. Hunter Pence had 69. J.D. Martinez 68. By the way, Pence is back with the Giants, and he got a hit tonight for them after a broken bone in spring training. Springer looks at it. It's 2-2 to George.
I think a lot of us thought Chris Truby was destined to have a tremendous career the way he came on the scene.
Yeah.
Breaking ball right here that stays up. But you can see that's actually a callable pitch. The high strikes have not been called this evening a whole lot.
In the air out to right field. Carrera comes in. 2 outs. And it's Gaddis next. The starting rotation of the Blue Jays has combined for an ERA of 5.34. Tied for last in the American League. Mark Buehrle will get the start we mentioned tomorrow in the 110 game here. Buehrle's 5-2. His ERA is 5.54. Colin McHugh opposes him with a 4-1 record and a 3.50 ERA. Gaddis got the infield hit off Estrada's glove. Evan looks at ball one upstairs. In Gaddis's career against the Blue Jays, he is 8 for 16 with 2 homers, 3 runs batted in. Gaddis looks at it. It's in for a strike, 1-1, and you can see the attention of Estrada to Altuve, even with 2 outs in the inning.
We have a new drummer sighted for KISS.
Yes, we do. Gaddis rips one high to left center field. Gaddis sends it on a long fly. That ball is gone. A 2-run homer for Evan Gaddis, number 7. And quickly it's 3-2. It's 20 runs batted in for Gaddis. With that swing of the bat, he puts life in this crowd.
The long ball. And the Astros have been living by it in good part. And it never hurts, especially when you get a man or more aboard. Right back in a ball game with one swing. It's a very powerful swing, and you can see Gaddis knew he got it.
That's the 53rd long ball by the Astros, who lead the American League. And Preston Tucker looks at that pitch for ball 1. Well, Gaddis hits number 7, and it's a 1-run lead. Guy has some kind of power. Two balls and a strike to Tucker.
You know, as long as you can hit the long ball, you're always potentially close in a ball game.
Foul back. Yeah, that's a part of the Astros quick strike attack that the fans have to like so much.
Gaddis just turned, dropped the bat, workmanlike like he is. I got one. We're back close in the game.
Tucker takes it. It's a strike to Preston. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
We haven't seen the long ball from Preston Tucker yet. They're in there, believe me. This guy's got some kind of bat speed, and he has alerted everybody right away. Coach, manager, everybody sees the bat speed.
Full count now to Tucker. A compliment to him that he's batting in the 5 spot tonight after just a few major league games.
What can you do for me? Well, it appears pretty obvious.
That's some perspective. Fouled away. Well, the Blue Jays have hit 42 homers. They've allowed 44. No American League team has surrendered that many. Astros hit 3 bombs last night. Springer, Altuve, and Valbuena. Tucker fouls it back. They won without benefit of a homer in the opener of this series Thursday night, scoring 6 runs on 8 hits. Tucker had 2 doubles in that game and a single. And then he had 2 more doubles last night, giving him 4 doubles over a span of 6 at bats. Changeup dips low and outside. That's a great job.
Wow. That pitch on a 3-2, I guarantee you most hitters, that bat's going to go on through. You just get totally fooled on that changeup. That's kind of one of those glimpses at a hitter. You kind of raise your eyebrows and think, wow, that's quality work.
Pete Walker, the pitching coach, comes out. Yep, lay off that kind of a pitch and take the walk. It's the 3rd walk of the night for Estrada. This is another thing the Astros have done. They have mixed in their walks. They're 4th in the league in drawing walks. So even though they're hitting .229 as a team coming into this game, they have been getting base runners on other than by getting hits. Rasmus is the batter. He hit a fly ball to left. They're only hitting .208 at home, averaging 3.5 runs per game. They're 11-9 in this ballpark. Carter on deck. Strike to Rasmus.
That .208 at home for the club, perplexing, and it's got to be fixed. You've got to find a way to light it up on a normal basis here at home. It's really a great ballpark to hit in. Keep it away from center field.
0-2 to Colby. Colby was traded to Toronto during the 2011 season by St. Louis. That was a big 8-player deal. In the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Astros Class A affiliate, Quad Cities River Bandits, won their 10th straight road game last night. Their overall record is 28-7. Best record in professional baseball. Popped up. Martin right there near home plate. Comes back behind the dish. He takes care of out number 3. But Gaddis makes it a 1-run lead for Toronto. Here's the 1-1 pitch. He rips it out for number 7. 3-2 Jays after 3.
Astros ball game with family-friendly activities at every Sunday home game presented by Kroger. Our next Family Sunday is tomorrow when the Astros and Blue Jays wrap up this series. For more information or to purchase tickets, go to astros.com/Sundays or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Correction, 3-2 Blue Jays. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Bart. We go to the 4th inning. Blue Jays got their 3 in the first now. The Astros, after the Gaddis 2-run homer in the 3rd, trailed by 1. Feldman survived a 2-out double by Travis and the error putting him at 3rd in the 2nd inning. He walked Donaldson but then got Bautista. Now it's Pilar. Kevin struck out in the 1st inning. This one goes to right field, chasing Springer back to the warning track. 1 pitch, 1 out for Feldman.
Could use some of those quick outs. This has been a very slowly paced game.
The Blue Jays forced Feldman into a high 1st inning pitch count. He's at 64 for the night. 42 have been strikes. Carrera struck out in the 2nd inning. 33 pitches in the 1st inning tonight for Feldman, then 19, then 11. Strike. Dallas Keuchel went 6 last night. Harris, Qualls, and Fields pitching the final 3 in the Astros 8-4 win. In for a strike, and it's 0-2. If the Astros win tonight, they will tie their best 37-game start in history. That was a 24-13 record in 3 different seasons. Line drive to left. Caught by Tucker. 2 outs.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm sure is being watched very closely on Preston Tucker is how he plays the outfield. Is he a guy that can give you that consistent, really good defensive outfield this club has put together? His bat makes a huge difference.
Ryan Goins grounded back to the pitcher Feldman, who made a nice stab on him. Ash pointed out he's avoided the walks this season, but has walked a couple tonight, giving him 9 all year in 45 innings. They strike 1 to Goins.
Yeah, 1.5 per 9 coming in. Great number there.
Rasmus well over in left center. Goins takes a look at it. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Goins, one of the native Texans, coming back home on this trip. The skipper John Gibbons from San Antonio, another one. There's a connection with A.J. Hinch. When he was the assistant general manager with the San Diego Padres, he hired John Gibbons to manage their Double-A San Antonio club.
Oh, that's got to be kind of cool.
That's a strike. That makes it 2-2.
Got to be really good when you're in the 80s with your fastball. Dallas Keuchel lives in that zone, and he is really good with command, but that's what you have to be able to do when you just don't have the big-time fastball.
Little chop goes foul. Well, Dallas has a 7-game winning streak now, dating back to last September 14th after his most recent win last night. He's 5-0 this year. First Astros starter to begin a season 5-0 or better since Roger Clemens in 04. He was 9-0. Dallas is currently 3rd in ERA in the American League. What do you get for that? You get a gnome. 3-2.
A lawn gnome, no less.
Yeah. You'll be placing yours tonight when you get home.
I'm not sure I'm going to be allowed to have one. Dallas Keuchel gets to determine who gets them and who doesn't.
Oh, well, that's a beautiful pitch. Strike 3 called. 6th punch out for Feldman. Is it some karma from the gnome? 3-2 Toronto. Marines. He served in both World War II and Korea as a fighter pilot. One of those brave Major League ball players who had a Hall of Fame career and still gave up several productive seasons. Who knows what the numbers could have been if Ted Williams had played ball during that entire time, but that was not his priority.
Same squadron as John Glenn, I'm told.
Yeah.
It's right out of our truck, our producer. Really amazing the big years out of the hearts of careers that were given up by so many heroes back then.
Strike to Chris Carter. He whiffed back in the second. It's in for a strike, and it's 0-2 to Carter, with Conger and Gonzalez to follow here in the fourth inning. One and two. Strike three call. Fourth strikeout for Estrada. That's 53 punch-outs for Carter this year.
And he's been caught looking a lot, but he might have gotten caught looking when possibly the home plate umpire wasn't looking all that closely.
118 at-bats for Chris this season. Good night for the families to watch and enjoy. A little food along the way as Conger, who walked earlier, takes strike one. Hank had been paired with Dallas Keuchel the last few starts for Dallas. Now the pairing has been mixed up. A.J. Hinch not a big fan of pairing batteries together each time through the order. No balls, two strikes. We understand that with the excitement building for the Major League debut coming up Monday night of Lance McCullers Jr., he has arrived in Houston. He's not allowed to be in uniform during games, though. Conger tried to check, and he did on appeal to Brian O'Nora at third base. That keeps the count at 1-2 and keeps Hank at the plate. So it's going to be McCullers against lefty Drew Pomeranz Monday night at 7:10 here.
Did Hank Conger hold it back? Ooh, well, that's right in that. Could have called him.
That's the twilight zone right there.
It is. Exactly. I've got to get back to Ted Williams. Don't we all? 521 career home runs for a guy who had a lifetime batting average of .344 and missed 3 years to the military in the early heart of his career.
3 prime years, yeah. How many home runs did he miss? Fouled. Still 2-2. What's your guess? What was he hitting before he went into the military? How many home runs?
Okay, so the first 4 years in the major leagues, he hit 31, 23, 37, and 36 home runs. So you can't tell me he was going to hit less than 35 at that stage of things, and maybe up to 40 plus. And so he misses 4 years. Let's call it a nice round 110. He missed on home runs. So
now you're up to 621.
Yep.
Close one to Conger, 3-2. And who knows? 621, how much higher he would have gone had he played those years.
Yeah, and you combine it with the batting average and on base percentage, lifetime .482.
482.
One of the great hitters of all time. You can't debate that one.
That is a walk to Conger, his second of the night. The Astros are working some of those. That's number 4, and forcing the pitch count up for Estrada. You know, you think about these great heroes, though, and these guys, not only Hall of Fame ball players, but just what they contributed to their country, and priorities were different in those days. But what would the war have been like without these guys contributing their services? Not only what they did, but the fact that all these other guys were watching them do it and wanted to be a part of that as well.
And see, I think that's a big part of it. Imagine what they meant to their fellow military guys side by side, and you're alongside Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio and on and on. It had to be incredible, and again, that willingness to serve when you're in the heart of a career that meant so much.
Strike to Marwin Gonzalez, who fouled out to first. We were just talking about Yogi Berra the other night when he turned 90 years old. Looking at all those Yogi-isms again. Funny stuff. But there was somebody who was a teammate of Yogi who was attempting to hit like Ted Williams. And that's apparently Yogi was counseling him it wasn't going well for this teammate. and that's when the famous phrase came out from Yogi: if you can't imitate him, don't copy him.
I've never heard that one.
So in that context, it does make some sense.
Yes,
right?
absolutely. Every time he had one of those, it made sense. But honestly, the one that I heard out of his own mouth, and it's not even on the list, but it happened. I assure you, we won that 1986 division title on the Mike Scott no-hitter in 1986, obviously, in September, and we came back in the clubhouse, and the three guys, the Larry Anderson,
Charlie
Kerfeld, and Aurelio Lopez had the cone head masks on. And Yogi said, "You three make quite a pair," as he had his arm around me walking back in the clubhouse. And I thought, I heard one. I just actually with my own ears heard one.
Struck him out. That's number 5. And it's Altuve batting. Altuve popped the short. He walked and scored on the 2-run homer by Gaddis. Altuve is 4 for 10 in his career against Estrada. The Astros have won 20 of their last 28. Their high water mark for the season was 11 games over 500 at 18-7. They're 10 games over now at 23-13. Altuve looks at it, and it's ball 1. Boy, the articles are coming out about the Astros this year in various publications. There is a thirst for information about how this club is 23-13. We're going to delve into it a little bit more tomorrow. 2 balls, no strikes. Jason Stark of ESPN wrote a very interesting article.
The amazing trifecta of stats, huh?
The 3 true outcomes: homers, walks, and strikeouts. The subject of that article. It's 3-0 to Altuve. 3 true outcomes. The highest belong to the Astros, 37.6. The Cubs, 37.1. Dodgers, Rays, and Reds.
Percentage of at-bats that end up in one of the 3 stats. Watch out for those Cubs.
Ground ball goes foul. Well, people are watching out for him, and that was the green light on a 3-0 to Altuve.
Then he had a good swing, just got out in front a bit.
The Cubs have really been fascinating to watch this year. Chris Bryant and all the young talent they have on that club. John Lester. The Mets have been a fascinating story this year. Tampa Bay Rays exceeding expectations.
Were there expectations for that?
Well, probably not. 3-2.
I mean, a lot of times the Rays just get overlooked and still win the division. But
I think the Yankees are a far better team than most people figured they would be.
Certainly for me, one of the biggest surprises to this point. Especially when you look at what Tanaka and Sabathia have done or haven't done with that club to this point.
Conger is not going to be held on with the 3-2 and 2 outs. Smoke playing right behind him as he takes off, and Altuve fouls it away.
You know, despite the fact that the Royals were in the World Series last year and almost won it, there's still a surprise for me about turning right around the following season and not only being in first place, but some of the things they're doing offensively in particular.
Well, they have players who are really hitting much better than they did last year. You're right. Including Eric Hosmer and Mike Moustakas.
Yes, corners of the infield.
Conger goes, and it's a ground ball foul again. Good battle here with Altuve and Estrada.
By the way, this is what happens in my estimation a lot of the time when Altuve is fooled. He doesn't swing through it. He gets a piece and fouls it off.
Excellent point.
It's an aspect that I think can get overlooked, but it's part of why he is so good.
His fans hoping he can come through again. There's a line drive, left field line, and foul. Good catch there, ball. He seems wistful that he caught it.
Just getting out in front. Altuve stays aggressive regardless of the count.
This will be the 9th pitch he'll see. He might be thinking that he wanted to let it go for the fans, but I think that would have been off the wall.
Yeah, I don't. I would be careful of off the lips myself.
Ground ball third. Donaldson with the throw, just got him. No runs, no hits, and a man left after 4. 3-2 Toronto.
Fan of the game who did a real nice job throwing out the first pitch tonight. Josh Yarborough, who lost both his legs serving in Afghanistan, threw a strike. It was right in there. And he is joining us now, coming from Section 107 out here at Military Appreciation Night. You having fun?
Having a great time.
That was a pretty good job you did out there. I've seen people throw it like over the backstop. Not bad.
I practiced a little bit.
Did you?
I did.
Were you nervous out there?
Not as nervous as I thought I would be.
Yeah. You did a nice job. Now, you've been an Astros fan a long time, right?
Since I was a little kid, yes, sir.
Watching games with your grandfather?
Oh, yeah. Every time they were on and I was over there, absolutely.
And the old TV set where you had to bend the antenna?
Yeah, you had to walk up to it if you wanted to change it.
Right. And this is out in Port Arthur where you grew up?
Yes, sir.
So you served 3 tours. Is that correct? Your last one in Afghanistan, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Well, what did you enjoy about the military? What did you get out of it?
I always had something to do. Felt like I was doing good. You know, I don't think you get that with a lot of jobs, but that was always something that I thought was good about it.
Make some lifelong friends?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's good to see a lot of your fellow military members here tonight, right?
I actually saw a friend I hadn't seen in 10 years. We were friends in high school, and he's actually here over right field line, and he came over and talked to me. So,
well, that's great. Listen, it's great to have all you guys here tonight. You are our progressive fan of the game.
Thank you so
there
much.
You go. Thank you for your service from all of us at Root. Appreciate it very much.
You're welcome.
Brownie, back to you.
Thank you, Bard. Oh, we are so appreciative of what he did and so many others. Good that they can enjoy a night out at the ball game. Devin Travis has struck out. You can applaud that. It's strikeout number 7 for Scott Feldman.
What was that about walking up to the TV to change it?
Well, we know that feeling, don't we?
I think I do.
Donaldson doubled to right and scored in the first. He walked in the second inning. Nobody loosening in the Astros bullpen right now. Feldman's at 78 pitches. 52 have been strikes for Scott. And that comes in over the corner. There's strike 1. great to meet a lot of our people in the service the last several years here. No balls, 2 strikes. The Astros, as Bart mentioned earlier, have regular programs with people in the service coming out to the ballpark, and they go out to military hospitals during the caravans, things of that nature. Very inspirational to see how they come back from those injuries. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. That's number 8.
I don't think Josh Donaldson was a pleased customer after his shopping experience at the plate here. I think he feels like a couple of pitches were out of the strike zone. One was close out of the strike zone. But I'd have some parting comments.
Jose Bautista's the batter. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. And it's ball 1. You know, we just have not seen all that many arguments with the umpire this year.
This year and last year, with the changes, with the review being what it is now, it's really changed, and I love it. I really applaud it myself.
Well, the obvious reason that if there's a really important play and it is reviewed in New York, the person making the decision is not here on this field.
Yep.
So it's hard to argue if he didn't make the decision. Hey, can you tell those guys in New York I didn't like it? Line shot, left field line. That's hooking foul. That was a bullet by Bautista. He got to them in a hurry for strike 1.
Yeah, I think the few arguments and ejections that there have been may stem in good part from strike zone interpretation by home plate umpires.
Right. In the dirt, 3-1. It's been a highly interesting season to this point with those surprise teams we talked about, and boy, Giancarlo Stanton continues to launch home runs. He's hit 11 now. There has been quite a power display put on by several players.
How about that Nelson Cruz fellow who's leading the American League in batting average and home runs?
3 balls, 2 strikes. He's been most impressive.
That he has.
Sonny Gray is the ERA leader right now, 1.61 for Oakland. Cruz hitting .358 with 15 bombs. What a pace. Inside, and Bautista has taken another walk. 3 grand slams in 1 week for John Singleton at AAA Fresno. He hit number 3 last night. Check this out, Ash.
Looks to me like he got just about all he needed of that baseball.
Oh, good grief.
Goodness. Yeah, it carries in Albuquerque. That's a pretty high elevation city, but I think John is swinging it quite well right now.
Russell Martin takes strike 1. Well, he has 23 runs batted in his last 5 games.
I was going to say, how many ribbies in that series with the 10 RBI game?
Yeah. And then for the season, he leads the minors in homers with 12 and runs batted in with 40 now.
Yeah, and you know who led those categories when he left the minor leagues not long ago?
A fellow by the name of Preston Tucker.
That would be correct, sir.
No balls, 2 strikes. Lou Gehrig in 1931 hit 3 grand slams in 4 days.
A lot of teams don't get the bases loaded that many times in 4 days.
Yeah. Blocked out in front by Conger, 1 and 2 on Martin. So there has been, you know, despite the lower batting averages, generally that downward trend the last several years, there has been some explosiveness offensively here in the early part of this season. We talked about the Cruz numbers, and D. Gordon is hitting better than .420 right now to lead the National League.
Say what?
You believe that?
I'm stunned. The number of hits by Gordon, just amazing.
Yeah.
62 already. You know, when you're watching Altuve, you feel like nobody could possibly be getting this many hits. But D. Gordon, wow,
he's in another world. 2-2 to Martin. Gordon's hitting .433 coming into play today.
In D. Gordon's last 8 games, he's had 3 3-hit games, a 2-hit game, and a 4-hit game mixed in.
Fouled outside the right field line. Carter over for a look, but it's out of play.
Had to go with a measly 1-hit game in that span.
Yeah, it's been a fun season. Now they talk about it, how to finish off Martin. Conger and Feldman confer on this. A.J. Hinch explained that Lance McCullers Jr. will be a part of the pregame meeting tomorrow, even though he's not pitching in this series, but in the next one against Oakland. Lance will get a chance to observe how the Astros do the pregame meetings between the pitchers and catchers, go over the opposing hitters. So he'll have that down for Monday's pregame preparation of his own. Got out on strikes. That's a 9-punch-out game for Feldman through 5 innings. 3-2 Toronto.
That it's Military Appreciation Night, and I got 4 more veterans up here. Some of them are active still. Guys, introduce yourself. Tell us where you serve.
Hi, my name is Chris Veit, and I served in Baghdad, Iraq, and also Fort Stewart, Georgia.
Great.
My name is Staff Sergeant Bloss. I'm still active duty, currently serving over in Fort Stewart, Georgia. I did 2 deployments, Iraq and Afghanistan.
How you doing? I'm Master Sergeant Ivan Agigi out of Moody Air Force Base. I served at Balad, Joint Balad Air Base, Iraq.
Sergeant First Class Manuel Colon, 20-year retired, served in Afghanistan. Go Astros.
There you go. Well, guys, I got to ask you, how much fun is this to get, the Military Appreciation Night? You got a lot of veterans out here tonight, but I don't know if you're here with, you see some old friends or you're here with some friends. How much fun is this for you guys?
I mean, it's amazing. Just the support and the fun that we get to come out here and the Astros to be able to support us. It's a really great experience.
It's got to be great to come back to the States and feel so much respect and support, right?
Oh, yes. It's an honor. We go downrange and all that, and we do what we got to do. And we never really realized how much support we got until we actually stepped foot back home. We got it with the family, but it's the people outside of the family that is what really touches us.
And we have some family right here. Is that the best part of this for you, coming back to the beach, spend time with your family?
Yes, sir, obviously. Obviously, we're here supporting our country, defending our freedoms, keeping them intact. And obviously, we remain humble. And it's just what we do. So we appreciate all the support. And we thank everybody.
Well, we're down by a run here. Can we pull it out?
We can pull it out, especially the state of Texas. Great state of Texas with veteran support. Thank you.
All right, we need all you guys to be louder if we're going to pull this thing out.
Let's go, Astros!
Rowdy, back up to you.
Thank you, Bart. Good to see them enjoying the evening. There's strike one on George Springer. Bueno was caught looking for strikeout number 6 for Marco Estrada. And it's 0-1 for Springer, who is 0 for 2. He hits the breaking pitch foul. No balls, 2 strikes with Evan Gattis on deck. It was Gattis who hit the 2-run homer in the 3rd. Toronto had led 3-0 until then. Oakland comes in Monday through Wednesday. The Wednesday game is a day game at 1:10. Springer's down, and that's strikeout number 7. Now Gattis. Infield hit off the pitcher's glove, and the 2-run homer to left for Evan. Tuesday night, it's Roberto Hernandez and Sonny Gray. The first time the Astros have faced Gray this season. They've played 2 series with Oakland. They'll be running up against the ERA leader in the American League with a 4-1 record. Foul ball, strike one. The Wednesday, the 1:10 game matches Dallas Keuchel, 5-0 with a 1.87 ERA, and Jesse Hahn. The Astros playing a day game Wednesday because they begin a road trip Thursday afternoon in Detroit. A rare first game of the road trip day game. What's that all about, Ash?
You know, there are times when I got absolutely nothing for you, but those folks have got something for us.
Oh,
right there. What are the flavors tonight? Did you check it out on the way in?
Oh, always. Well, we've got a little caramel. What's your favorite?
Well, if I have to be specific about it, I guess Rocky Road would be my typical favorite. How about you?
I wouldn't turn it down.
No?
Gattis looks at it. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes to Evan. Anything close to chocolate will work.
Yeah, that's always a winner. Local little establishment has a sweet cream and throw in some strawberries in there, and you get yourself a delectable delight.
Gattis takes it. It's strike 3. Strikeout number 8. Estrada and Feldman each striking out 3 in the 5th inning. Still 3-2 Toronto.
Do you prefer Jose Altuve? Check out this play to start the game last night. He is just, he's a highlight reel, non-stop going back of second base and making the play. And then there was this double play. No way they're getting a double play, but I don't know how much you could see the relay there, the middleman of the double play. But Altuve got rid of that ball, honestly, as quickly as you'll ever see.
Lefty Jeff Francis is warming up for Toronto. Scott Feldman on the mound for Houston, trailing 3-2. The Astros are getting a lefty up in the bullpen as Justin Smoke leads it off. He's 1 for 2, an RBI single in the 3-run first. Takes the curve for strike one. A big strikeout game for Feldman, 9 in 5 innings. The lefty for Houston is Joe Thatcher. Feldman closing in on 100 pitches now. His strikeout high is 12. That's a fair ball for Carter. Crossed right over the base, and he retires Smoke, 3 unassisted. Quite a turnaround after Feldman gave up 3 in that first inning. He's allowed 1 hit since then. Thatcher getting ready. Colabello is 0 for 2. He's popped a second and struck out. Cubs beat Pittsburgh today 4-1. John Lester going to 4-2. Beating Garrett Cole. He's 5-2. Travis Wood got save number 1. He usually doesn't close games for the Cubbies. But their skipper, Joe Madden, you mentioned him earlier, very innovative. That is strike 1. Looks like a fun year in Chicago for fans of the Cubbies.
Do they actually need to win there to have fun?
Not really.
Well, if they actually like that sort of thing, it should be nice.
Bouncer up the middle. Feldman. 2 outs. Reach way out with that extended left arm.
Let's start talking defense with Feldman. That's a heck of a play. The Biggio Hall of Fame 7-game ticket package offers great matchups, including the Yankees, Tigers, and Dodgers. Be there for the anniversary of Biggio's 3,000th hit. Biggio weekend and more. To purchase tickets, visit Astros.com/Biggio, HOF Hall of Fame, or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Take a look at after Biggio gets done manhandling his kiddos. How about that for a play by Scott Feldman?
Nicely done by Scott. That's 2 outs, and at Kevin Pillar now. Pillar looks at a strike. He is 0 for 2. The bottom of the order, 6 through 9 hitters have not reached base. Collective 0 for 9 against Feldman. So what started out in such an explosive way for manager John Gibbons, a 3-0 lead after 1/2 inning, has not given him a whole lot of room to relax on that bench. One big bounce, Valbuena. And that's a quick 6th inning. Feldman might be buying himself the 7th in the middle of the 6th. It's 3-2 Toronto.
look back to Preston Tucker at the plate as he takes a pitch under the knees and up high with the fastball. Then a changeup. He gets a whale of a swing on. That curveball is called a strike. And so he's got to really battle at this point with a couple of strikes on him. That high fastball, tough to get to, but he gets a piece, and again even higher. And then the changeup, and he somehow lays off. That's tough stuff. Boy, the young man is dealing with the bat right now.
He will be facing a lefty reliever. Canadian-born Jeff Francis coming in from the bullpen. Francis, a first-round pick of Colorado in 02, the 9th player drafted that year, is 1-1 in 7 games this year with this Toronto club. 12 innings. He has a 5.25 ERA.
That ERA kind of reflective of what the Blue Jays have done on the mound this year, and the reason, one of the reasons they haven't been better than they have been. But Jose Reyes is going to make a big difference when he comes back.
Now it's Tucker who got the big RBI double against lefty reliever Aaron Loop in the come from behind rally in the 7th inning Thursday night, facing Francis. And he gets strike one. Tucker has struck out and he's walked. Toronto bullpen has really struggled this season. Curveball is wide, and it's a 1-ball 1-strike count from Francis, who last year pitched for 3 different major league clubs: Cincinnati, Oakland, and the Yankees. His nickname is Boomer for Boom Boom Jeffrey on the hockey player. 2 balls and a strike. On that bench, they look for a go-ahead rally here in the 6th inning. Colby Rasmus is on deck. Chris Carter due up 3rd in the frame. Bullpen remains busy for Toronto. Ripped into right field. Tucker hangs in against the lefty again. And another solid shot off a southpaw reliever for the Blue Jays.
And it's not like he's getting a cherry fastball right where he's looking when he comes up with the hits against the left-handers. This wasn't a great location by any stretch, but it was a breaking ball from Francis. He leaves it up, and Tucker does what you hope to be able to do, take advantage. But he just lashes through the baseball. Can't you just see that swing, launching a bunch of long balls?
It's a beautiful swing. Colby Rasmus is 0 for 2. You've talked about it. There's a strike on the foul ball for Rasmus, but you saw it on the replay again. Tucker keeping that bat through the strike zone on such a nice plane.
You and I were talking with A.J. Hinch before the ballgame. He talks about the short swing. That's the getting from the stance to the baseball, but then he's long through the zone, and that's a very good combination.
In for a strike, 0-2 to Rasmus. The Astros did a number on the lefty. You mentioned Loop Thursday night. Loop did not retire a batter, giving up 3 hits and 4 runs, 3 of them earned. There's a shot to right center field, and this is going to be a diving play by Pilar, but it's out of play. A double. A well-hit ball by Rasmus. A powerful 0-2 swing, sending it on one hop into the Astros bullpen. Kevin Pilar laid out for it, but now the Astros have greeted Francis with 2 ringing hits.
So Colby Rasmus makes his argument for being in there against righties and left-handers. And he, like Preston Tucker, hit the breaking ball. A little tougher location here. Well, that's all out in center field by Pilar.
Double number 6 for Rasmus. That will knock Francis out of this game. Pilar flying through the air, coming up just short despite a great effort. The Astros have the potential tying and go-ahead runs in scoring position. 3-2 Toronto. Back in a moment. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. Key point of this game, 6th inning, runners at second and third. Nobody out. Evan Gaddis watching as Chris Carter bats against right-hander Liam Hendricks. Hendricks, a strikeout pitcher. He's struck out 14 in his last 14 and a third innings. And he's at 2.93 for the season with his ERA. Carter has struck out both times tonight. Conger is on deck.
You know, a lot of the times the argument is strikeouts don't hurt you, but right here, a strikeout hurts you. You got the infield playing back. It's a golden chance to get right back even in the ballgame.
Hendricks with strike one, in for the second time in this series. He got a call. He had a 1-2-3 inning last night. Carter fouls it, and quickly it's no balls, 2 strikes. Now Chris is going to have to battle for contact. Tucker at third and Rasmus at second, nobody out. Carter takes it. Last night these two squared off and Carter flied to center field against Hendricks. Hendricks was signed, and he's from Perth, Australia, by Minnesota. Moved around to different clubs last year, pitching for Toronto and Kansas City. Carter out to right center field. A high fly for Carter. And this is a bomb! Chris Carter goes off, and the Astros lead it. It's 5-3 Houston. Number 6, and this crowd is absolutely going crazy.
This is unbelievable with this club. And Chris Carter hit a slider away. I think there is a level of appreciation for that swing.
5-3 Astros.
2 left-handers get hit against the lefty who comes on to face him. And then the righty comes in and slams one the other way.
Now it's Conger. So much for percentages. Conger has walked both times. It's an explosive night again for these Astros fans. 5 runs on 6 hits. Carter goes deep. All 5 runs have come on homers. This foul ball goes out of play. What an amazing club this is. 54 home runs now to tie the Dodgers for the major league lead. And just home runs at crunch time and late innings.
Yeah, you get to thinking, why is there so much patience being shown for a particular guy? That guy that happened to hit 37 home runs a year ago?
Well, the 2 guys who were struggling the most have both gone deep in this game. Gaddis with number 7, Carter with number 6. Rip foul.
Yeah, you know, that's a really great point on this Astros club, because you're trying to figure out day to day who's going to be the hero, and truly there's other than Altuve, there's really no predicting on a daily basis.
No way to know. It's great fun. And with the home runs now being pretty well distributed, it's a very interesting stat sheet. Valbuena leads the club with 9. Carter just hit his 6th. Gaddis his 7th earlier today. Springer has 6. Rasmus 6. Altuve 5. There's a liner over first, but foul. So it can break out anywhere. The Astros have hit 17 of their home runs in the 7th inning or later. 17 of 54, almost 1/3.
John Gibbons down there in the dugout thinking, I used to love Houston.
Boy, serious for him. High drive center field. This is way back for Pilar to the warning track. 1 out.
Our
T-Mobile game changer is Preston Tucker. Let's change that. Let's go to Chris Carter. Yeah. Opposite field bomb with a couple of strikes on him as he gets into that slider and takes the Astros from a 1-run deficit to now what is it, a 5-3 lead? Yes. Chris Carter is a game changer, and we know that already.
Now, Marwin Gonzalez is 0 for 2. Marco Estrada in 5 innings allowed 3 hits, 2 runs. He walked 4, fanned 8, came out after the 5. His pitch count was running pretty high. Jeff Francis did not retire a batter, giving up 2 hits, 2 runs, no walks or strikeouts. Hendricks gave up the 3-run bomb to Carter, and now Marwin takes ball 1 after Conger's retired. That's low for a ball to make it 2-0. Tigers beat the Cardinals in 10 today, 4-3. Soria got his 12th save. The Astros will be in Detroit on Thursday afternoon, as we were mentioning, and David Price was their starter today. Scott Feldman starting for Houston tonight. They would be scheduled to match up in that Thursday day game unless something changes. 3-1. Miggy Cabrera hit his 10th today. And Matt Carpenter went deep for the 7th time for St. Louis. Peter Borges. There's another deep drive to right field. This one is going to get out. Marwin Gonzalez joins the party. Number 2 for Gonzalez. It's another 3-home game for the Astros. 3-home run game, and the Astros just continue to explode.
So I said you never know who's going to be the hero, who's going to step up on this club. And it just goes round and round.
6-3 lead.
Heck, it's hard enough to know who's going to play at a given position on any night, but everybody getting it done.
Altuve with a tap to the left side. Donaldson cuts over, throws, and gets him at first. 2 outs.
Driving it out. Well, Marwin's got that short little quick stroke with the bat from the left side. And every once in a while, he just surprises and launches.
Well, it is every once in a while. He had gone 74 at bats since connecting at Texas off Giovanni Gallardo April 11. 6-3 lead.
We were just getting underway at that time.
Well, Buena takes it.
You know what, though? We're still just getting underway. Still coming, as you were talking about, to that quarter pole. And it's a pretty good point at which to assess ball clubs. Maybe not the ideal point, but not a bad spot.
No balls, 2 strikes, 40 games, a much more representative sample than we'll say 20. Buena 1 for 3, 6 runs and 7 hits for Houston. All 6 runs coming on long balls, and there's the punch out to end the Astros 6th. A 6th inning that exploded with 4 runs on 4 hits. The fans are loving this team, taking the field for the 7th inning with a 6-3 lead.
To the servicemen and women both here in Houston and abroad, we just want to give our sincerest thanks to you and your families for your service, for what you do. We appreciate everything, and we appreciate all that you do for our country.
George Springer and Colin McHugh with their sympathies. And it's 6-3. The Astros lead it with the 4-run 6th inning. We go to the 7th inning. And Ezekiel Carrera leads it off. Carrera's 0 for 2. There is strike one. The Blue Jays haven't had a hit since the 2nd inning. They've been out hit now 7-4. Twins beat the Rays today 6-4. There's a chop to Carter's right. Tossing to Feldman. He gets the out. Ryan Goins will come up. Thatcher was warming up in the 6th inning, but Feldman had such a quick 6th. Then the Astros grab the lead. He comes right back out here for the 7th, so probably batter by batter. Josh Fields is warming up now.
This one didn't start well for Scott Feldman, but don't look now. He's trying to get through a 7th inning for a 2nd straight start now.
He's at 102, as you see there in the pitch count for the evening. He's thrown as many as 108 in a game this year. Goins is 0 for 2. Boy, he just served as his own long reliever after giving up 3 in the 1st inning tonight. He put a tourniquet on this Blue Jay attack.
This is dead on. And I imagine A.J. Hinch and any manager under that circumstance would wholeheartedly agree with that statement.
It's a 2-0 count. Minnesota beat Tampa Bay today 6-4. Dunsing the winner. Perkins got his 13th save. Dozier hit his 6th home run. 2 balls and a strike. Well, the way the second basemen have been producing so far in the American League this season, and with all-star balloting underway, Jose Altuve should be raking in tons of votes. Allen goes into right field. Goins gets the first hit by a Blue Jay since the 2nd. And Travis will come up. Travis is 1 for 3. 5 hits allowed by Feldman tonight. 3 of those came, though, with 1 out in the 1st inning. Travis has whiffed twice in addition to his double to right. He was stranded at 3rd in the 2nd inning. That's another inning to look back on for Feldman, in which he worked out of trouble getting Bautista. One for Scott, shooting for win number 3 of the year. His last win came at Oakland April 25th. This could be his 6th quality start of the 8 he's had this year if he does not give up any more earned runs. Oh, and 2. Travis tried to reach out with that swing, failing to make contact. Atlanta beat Miami 5-3 for the Braves. Is that our camera guy out there? Frank back on the beam. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mario's out there tonight.
You can tell when it's a serious photographer, though. They're not taking a photo of themselves.
Like that guy in Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, while taking video. That was great.
What a turnaround. To what do you attribute this turnaround for Feldman tonight?
Oh, it's a really intriguing question. Sometimes it's just caring enough to you get beat up early and then you care and everything clicks for you at some point. And I don't know that it's definable, but it says something about the heart and the character of the guy.
Dallas Keuchel has 105 pitches per start. That's the high figure on the Astros staff. Feldman at 98. Pretty good consistency. He had 3 innings in one of his starts here against Texas, giving up 10 hits and 6 earned runs, but bounced back last time out. Has not had a whole lot of run support, though. He gets a punch out there. That's number 10.
Every Wednesday night home game is $1 Hot Dog Wednesday, presented by Nolan Ryan Beef. Enjoy Dollar Dogs on Wednesday, June 3rd, when the Astros take on the Orioles. For more information, visit astros.com/dollardogs or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
A.J. Hinch goes out to the mound. Feldman really did a job tonight. Trailing 3-0 with 1 out in the first inning. He turned things around, and he winds up with 10 strikeouts, leading to a standing ovation with a 6-3 lead. We'll be right back.
Feldman. You never would have guessed it back in the first inning, despite the fact that he struck out a pair in that inning. But the bats were alive for the Blue Jays, but boy, has he come on. Look at the number of curveballs, backdoor slider, fastballs that he's thrown by guys. And when it's all said and done, 10 strikeouts as he goes through 6 2/3 innings. You can feel really good about yourself on that night.
Now from inside the scoreboard wall in left field, there's been a change on the mound. It is still 6-3 Houston. Runner at first, Goins, 2 outs in the 7th inning. On the mound now, right-hander Josh Fields. He finished the game last night. He's 2-0 with a 1.17 ERA, giving up just 4 hits and striking out 12 in 7 2/3. He faces Josh Donaldson, who's 1 for 4 against him, and there's strike 1. Donaldson with a double, a walk, and a strikeout tonight. Strom, Scott Feldman talk about a big turnaround by the 6'7" right-hander, and some smiles right there after he stopped the Toronto offense, which scored 3 times in the first.
That's basically a pitching coach saying, "I love you, man."
Fields gets a strike on Donaldson, and it's 0-2 for Josh. Josh threw only 13 pitches last night. One thing that's been really so helpful for A.J. Hinch and Brent Strom. These Astros relievers have had a lot of 1, 2, 3 innings, 15 pitches or less. They've had some 5 and 6 pitch innings that have helped them to be available for the next night. Two and 2 to Donaldson.
Donaldson, I think, was a little tough on Clint Fagan last at bat, and sometimes when you are, you don't get the benefit on a close pitch like that.
The appeal went to first. He checked his swing. Now it's 3 and 2. 2 outs going, so we'll take off at first.
Pat starts. Oh, that's right out over the plate. And could be called.
Chad Qualls has pitched 3 nights in a row. There it goes, and it's ball 4 now. Donaldson walking, and Bautista coming up, representing the potential tying run. He's 0 for 1 with a pair of walks. Fields did not face these hitters last night. Bautista with Martin on deck represents quite a threat to this 6-3 lead. In for a strike with an off-speed pitch.
That might be the changeup that's been somewhat abandoned to this point on the season.
Sure looked like it, Ash.
We saw a lot of this late last season, and it looked like a pitch that was in the process of being perfected a bit.
Had some nice movement on it. It's 1-1. Fields opened the season on the disabled list, a groin injury from spring training. Giants have been pounding the Reds tonight, 11-2 in Cincinnati. In the 8th, right-hander Steve Delabar warming up for Toronto now. Hunter Pence has returned to the lineup tonight. He's 2 for 3 with a walk as the right fielder for the Giants, including a double. In for a strike. 1-2, and Bautista moved away from the batter's box after this.
Another changeup. Look at that, just floats it in there. 87 is what Fields floats a pitch at, but his fastball forces you to move early.
Delabar getting loose. Brandon Crawford hit a grand slam for the Giants tonight. Swing and a miss. Fields pitched him backwards and struck him out. No runs, a hit, 2 men left. Big out in this game, 7th inning stretch. God bless America coming up on this military appreciation night with the Astros leading Toronto 6-3.
It's Military Appreciation Night at Minute Maid Park. The Houston Astros would like to salute, honor, and thank all of the servicemen and women who protect our freedoms around the world each and every day. Please rise now as we honor our great nation and welcome Sergeant Promise Harris from the Texas Air National Guard as she leads us with the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the
Udo served in the U.S. Navy during World War II. Also another great Major League Baseball player. Hall of Famer, longtime broadcaster who was a big contributor to the military during World War II.
The Scooter. One of those guys who earned his stripes with a little bit of small ball. How many years did he broadcast?
Couldn't tell you. We have a change at second base. Steve Tollison in at that position for Devin Travis. And the Astros lead at 6-3 with George Springer batting. He taps it foul. There's strike one. Hendricks took over. Gave up the 3-run homer to Carter. And then another shot to Marwin Gonzalez. He's pitcher number 3 and staying in this game with Evan Gattis on deck. Preston Tucker due up third. It's a 1-ball 1-strike count on Springer. George 0 for 3 tonight. That's in for a strike, 1 and 2. The Astros were in a downturn offensively for about a week, but they began to turn things around. Wednesday, they came from behind, trailing the Giants 3-1. They won it 4-3. Shot on the ground. Tollison. 1 out. They had the 6-4 win here Thursday night over the Blue Jays. 6 runs on 8 hits. Last night, counted out 11 hits and 8 runs with a 3-home run game. And tonight, another 3 long ball game. And so far, 6 runs on 7 hits. Gattis got it started with the 2-run 2-out homer in the 3rd after the walk to Altuve. He is 2 for 3 tonight. That's ball 1 to him. And the Blue Jay 8th, that's Martin Smoke and Colabello due up. Tony Sipp in the Astros bullpen. That's a foul tip strike, and it's 1-1. Sipp right there working, and we would expect to see Luke Gregerson tonight. In for a strike. It's 1-2. Strike 3 call. That's 2 outs now.
Yeah, that is pure Petro right there at 96. Preston Tucker continues to impress. Look how level the bat is. And we talk about some guys that are barrel droppers and then long through the ball. Short 2 and long through. And it's adding up very nicely for Preston Tucker.
That was his 6th inning single, starting the go-ahead rally. He had a walk and a strikeout earlier. There's strike 1 to him. It comes in. That's a really good fastball. No balls, 2 strikes. You talked about the power stuff of Liam Hendricks, and we just saw it again. And up the ladder. Struck him out. 1, 2, 3, 7th inning, keeping it within 3 for the Blue Jays. 6-3 Astros after 7.
A premium experience with an Astros luxury suite at Minute Maid Park. Whether you're treating your memories or hosting clients or celebrating a special occasion, we'll create an experience that your group's going to remember. Call the Astros premium ticket line at 1-877-9-ASTROS and reserve your luxury suite today. Sounds like fun.
You know all about fun, Bart. You're
Yeah.
the very definition of fun
Ready
tonight.
to get a suite.
Making your rounds, hearing from a lot of interesting folks. Tony Sipp comes in. He's 2-0 with a 0.63 ERA. Very tough opponent's average against him of 160. Lefties 5 for 26 against Tony, who's working for the first time since Tuesday night.
Guy who made probably the biggest positive difference in the Blue Jays, or rather the Astros bullpen, a year ago. Tony Sipp has just continued to pitch effectively.
Lefty Brett Cecil's warming up for the Jays. They come up in the 8th inning. Russell Martin first up. He had the 2-run triple in the first. He's 1 for 3. Scott Feldman threw 112 pitches tonight. 75 were strikes in his 6 2/3 innings. 5-hit 3-run baseball, walking 3, fanning 10. Josh Fields went 1/3 of an inning and gave up no hits, no runs, had a walk and a strikeout. Sipp delivers, and there's strike one for Tony. And when Martin hit that gapper in the first inning, looked as if the Blue Jays were off and running. They made it 3-0 as he scored on a smoke single. They haven't scored since. Rolls one foul, first base side, 0-2. His Toronto club is 3rd in total bases in the American League, 4th in slugging. So he certainly has that kind of comeback ability here with the 4, 5, 6 hitters due up in the 8th. John Gibbons would love to see it. Brooke Jacoby, the hitting coach for the Blue Jays, wouldn't mind seeing some of that himself. Swing and a miss, and Martin chases one, striking out.
Well, that changeup has been a dominant pitch on both sides this evening. Seen a lot of really good fastballs and well-spotted pitches. Well, I was, number one, really glad to see Josh Fields break out that pitch this evening and throw it successfully.
Dallas Keuchel worked it well last night.
Certainly did.
Justin Smoke with an RBI single in 3 trips. So maybe that's a pitching staff strategy against this club, do you think?
Yeah, it could be that. It could also be that guys have been kind of, as a group, working on the pitch lately.
Smoke's out in front of that one for strike one. This Houston bullpen, 11-2 with a 1.99 ERA, really standing up well to the late inning work. 1 ball, 1 strike, so much better than a year ago at this point. You mentioned that Sipp came in and he was a part of that turnaround, but the overall numbers were the worst in the American League. More blown saves than any other team, higher ERA than anybody else. Now it's flipped. The Astros have completely flipped the script on the bullpen. 1-2. And if we look back, we'll see it, Ash.
It's hard to take what was a weakness and turn it into a strength this quickly, but that's what the Astros are doing. You can see the numbers from 14 to 15, and I don't worry so much about the record, but everything else. Boy, it just paints a huge story for you.
That whip is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Under 1 here in 2015. What a bullpen group effort.
2-2. Astros pitchers have walked the fewest hitters in the American League. Blue Jays pitchers have walked the most.
I'll bet you there hasn't been a spring training for any team where the pitching coach hasn't said to the guys, okay, we're going to cut down on our walks this year. It's going to be what we do this year. But it doesn't necessarily follow. In fact, it very seldom does. But it is certainly a big part of this turnaround.
3-2 now, and that plays into that whip being below 1. Now back. Astros trying to make it a 4th straight win. If they get it, they'll go to 11 games over 500, 24-13, equaling their high water mark of the season. They brought a lead of 4.5 games into play today over the Angels. Angels are leading 2-1 in the 7th inning at Baltimore. They've just got 2 in the top of the 7th. Swing and a miss, and Smoke is down on strikes.
Again off speed. And I can see where Tony would be really tough on a hitter when he comes changeup, because he's got so much Herkian and Jerkian coming up toward the plate, and you almost have to get jumpy as a hitter. You can see that swing was not even close.
That's another 13 strikeout game for the Astros pitching staff. The 3rd time this season they have whiffed that many. That's their 1-game high. They last did it against the Angels April 18th. Chris Colabello's 0 for 3. And it's strike 1 for Tony Sipp. The Astros have outscored their opponents 66-34 in the 7th inning or later coming into play tonight. And as of a couple of days ago, they were leading the majors in runs scored after the 6th. When you combine their runs scored with their runs prevented with this outstanding bullpen, it has been quite a finishing kick on many a night for this Houston club. Foul, and out of play for George Springer. 0-2 to Colabello. The Blue Jays have had 1 hit since the 2nd. McGowan's 1-out single in the 7th. Great to see a nice big crowd tonight at Minute Maid Park. Tomorrow a 1:10 start for the finale of this 4-game series. 27,102 tonight. Crowd enjoyed the fireworks after the game last night, even though the roof was closed throughout the evening. It did roll back, and there was a good show. It's going to be a very busy day in the downtown Houston area. The Rockets are playing as well tomorrow afternoon. Certainly a lot of growing enthusiasm for this sport. One ball, 2 strikes. It's been a while since the Astros have had this kind of a record, as you know. Struck him out. He struck out the side. Tony Sipp with 3 more Ks to the Houston effort. That's 14 total for the night. The Astros lead at 6-3 in the 8th. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. In downtown Houston, it's 6-3. The Astros reversed this game. They trailed 3-0 as they came up in the home third. Evan Gattis hit a 2-run homer to pull them to within 1. In the 6th inning, they grabbed the lead. Tucker and Rasmus with hits off the lefty reliever Francis. Then Carter with a 3-run homer. Gonzalez added another long ball. Now it's Brett Cecil. He is pitcher number 4 for Toronto.
Just 11 innings on the year. ERA up over the 4 mark. Did I just see a shot of downtown with a freeway running smoothly? Where was that shot?
That's on tape. That's from 2011.
I gotcha.
And we taped it.
Okay.
Colby Rasmus is the batter. He's 1 for 3. Actually, it might be from about 1992.
You're getting more and more believable.
Well, it is a teeming metropolis with lots and lots going on.
I hope there is a happy ending.
Rasmus takes a look at Cecil's pitch. It is a strike, and it's 1-1 from the 28-year-old lefty from Dunkirk, Maryland. In the University of Maryland, he was a closer when he was drafted with a supplemental pick after the first round in 2007. And he's back to closing. Line shot over Donaldson into left field. It might be a cracked bat, but Rasmus is 2 for 4. We go to Bart Ennis.
Woo! Thanks, Brownie. Before the game, we had a chance to talk to A.J. Hinch about Chris Carter. And he has some very nice things to say about him after last night's game. And today he sort of reiterated that he's starting to see better at-bats from Carter. And that's how they're judging him. Not on a batting average or a season OPS or whatever. They're trying to just get more good at-bats out of him. And he's drawn a couple of big walks for them over the last couple of games. Sacrifice fly last night. He also hit a ball right on the screws that was caught for an out. So they're starting to see signs. And, of course, the home run tonight that Carter is starting to find it a little bit.
That was a 3-run shot, giving the Astros the lead. And he takes ball 1. He had runners at second and third. Nobody out in the 6th inning. The Astros led it 5-3 after he unloaded. A 1-2 pitch into the right center field bullpen. He had struck out the first 2 times. Off the mid of Martin, and that will allow Rasmus to get to second base.
I think somebody just got crossed up.
Looked like it.
Well, Martin's not even going to bother going out to the mound like most catchers will do when crossed up, but that just didn't look right.
Now it's 2-0. Ruled a pass ball. Carter takes it. It's a strike for Cecil. That makes it 2-1. Cecil had an inflamed shoulder earlier this year. Blue Jays decided to go with a young pitcher as a closer out of spring training, Castro, but he's been demoted now. And he is starting in the minor leagues. Very hard thrower. 2 balls, 2 strikes. They only have 6 saves as a staff this season. Their bullpen ERA is 3.71. Carter is down and he punches out for the 3rd time tonight. But this is the oddity about the Houston Astros of 2015. He has struck out 3 times, but he's hit the biggest home run in this game, a 3-run shot.
And I think it's all part of what you have to size up. Are the struggling at bats enough to say you're not willing to take those big ones when you can win a ball game with 1 swing?
Now it's Hank Conger, 2 walks and a fly ball. Hits that one out of play, strike 1. Devin Travis left the game with an injury to his left shoulder, irritation. Luke Gregerson warming up. Well, looking at Carter's strikeouts, the first one came with 1 out, nobody on in the second. The second one came leading off the 4th. He came up with runners at second and third, nobody out, ripped one into the bullpen in the 6th. This one came with the runner at second. So the first two are harmless. 1 ball, 1 strike. And also the count on him when he hit the home run was 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Carter came into this game hitting 136 with men in scoring position. He was 3 for 22. And yet, at the exact moment when he was there to help the team the most, he did. Now these guys are probably coming into the clubhouse every day offering to wrestle each other to get in the starting lineup. There's that much competition.
Yeah.
And the manager's got to be just studying things and turning things over in his mind, deciding which player he should put in there, which guy he should rest, matchups.
You know, the Astros have a very honest manager who likes to, keep his guys informed. Got to be really tough.
One thing about a club with this kind of a record is, though, that players more readily accept not playing.
I think they probably want to plead their case. But they've got a guy that will listen and respond as much as possible.
It's all about winning. 2-2. Jake Marisnick threw the short straw tonight, being rested against the right-hander Marco Estrada, but he will probably be in there against the lefty tomorrow. Be Mark Burley tomorrow. Conger swings and it's strike 3, 2 outs.
Getting back to Chris Carter just a little bit, Brownie. Last year, again, and you can only say it so many times, but 37 home runs for Carter. It was a breakout season, but he had a 153 first month of the year. He also hit 164 in June, but when it was all added up, he had a July of 289 with 8 homers, an August at 270 with 12 homers. And those long balls really add up for the club.
And as Bart said, there's evidence that things have gotten better in recent days. Marwin Gonzalez was strike 1. Ripped a home run to right in the 6th inning. As a left-handed batter, now he's 1 for 3 tonight. He's hitting .381 right-handed. 8 for 21. So Burley, who goes tomorrow, the old World Series opponent from 05. He was with the White Sox, 5-2 this season. No balls, 2 strikes. That'll be an interesting afternoon, starting with a 1:10 game.
Mark Burley's going to do his best to give you a nice, quick, moving pace.
Oh, he will. He's had 14 straight years winning at least 10 games, starting at least 30, and pitching 200 innings. Foul back.
A Mark Burley Dallas Keuchel matchup would be really intriguing to see what the pace of that game would eventually look like. And to me, and I heard somebody else say this maybe yesterday, that Dallas Keuchel is a little bit on the mound like Mark Burley of about 10 years ago.
Bouncer up the middle. Tollison with a play to end the 8th inning. No runs, a hit, and a man left. We move to the 9th. The Astros lead it 6-3.
Kevin Gaddis did early on. That was the first of 3 of the night for Houston. And a big one to get the club going. This one, none bigger. As Brownie said, a couple of strikes on him. Opposite field, 3-run job. And then, for a little insurance, Marlon Gonzalez. So, playing long ball has been maybe as big a thing as the pitching side of the game for the Astros. Well, I don't know. When it's all adding up, it sure does look good right about now.
Was that Javier Bracamani making that great catch?
Yeah. He called it. I saw him call it early, so everybody backed off.
Luke Gregerson comes in with a 3-run lead. 1 inning to go. It means it's a save situation for Gregerson. And the Astros closer has converted 8 of 9 save situations. He last pitched against the Giants and saved the 4-3 win. That was Wednesday night. Here's Kevin Pillar. He gets strike 1. Pillar's 0 for 3. Gregerson has been away from the club for a few days. Some personal leave. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. He has saved his last 4 appearances. 2-0 with a 2.40 ERA.
How about that last number? 15-0 for the club when Luke Gregerson has come in the ballgame. That says a lot. I don't know if you can realistically stay as sharp as you want when you're gone for a few days. Those last 2 pitches, sliders, just launched up out of his hand.
They had a problem last time out. Gave up a couple of hits, but no runs. That was that base running gaff by Crawford. Brandon Crawford was thrown out trying to go from second to third on a grounder to shortstop. And that helped him out some. There's a check swing call. So Pillar works the count to 3-1. But Gregerson kept throwing baseballs out of the game as if they were slick that night.
Well, he's rubbing them up right now like maybe he has that same feel. You know, when you're not doing your routine every day and feeling the baseball, it can start to feel like you don't have great command of it with the fingers.
He gets a foul ball, 3-2. He really relies on the slider, so if the baseball is slick and he can't really get a grip on that pitch to make it break, that is a difficulty.
I used to describe that feel as when you touch a piece of dry paper. That's kind of the feel that a baseball gets on your fingers when you're not having a good feel with it. It's not like you're in command at all times.
Foul ball. You mentioned that the Astros are 15-0 when he appears in a game. He had that one blown save at Oakland April 24th, but then he was the winning pitcher. The Astros won it in the 11th after he was unable to hold a 2-0 lead in the 10th.
Of course, closers don't want to get W's because that means in most cases that something's gone wrong. Always better than the L, though.
He got him on a good slider. That's 5 straight Blue Jays who have struck out.
Well, he does come back with a good slider here. After kind of letting a couple launch upward and then missing badly down and away. Finally gets the feel.
That's 15 strikeouts for Astros pitchers. Those kids know that. Carrera's the batter. He's 0 for 3.
They're students of the game, Brown.
Showing bunt and taking ball 1. It's Goins on deck. Tollison is now in the leadoff spot. Travis leaving with the shoulder injury. Valbuena's on the grass. Around the bunt again. He takes it. 2 balls, no strikes. Gregerson with the 8 saves has had 6 one-run saves. This is the easiest type of save. 3-run lead with 1 inning to go. Other than finishing the final 3 innings of a blowout ball game.
I thought a 3-run lead was a blowout game.
Yeah, well, Astros have played 11 one-run games, so they might say it is 3-1. They have not been in first place this late in the season since 04. 3 balls, 1 strike. That was the year they wound up a wild card playoff team. And they've had 10 come from behind wins. This one could go into that category. That's a 1-out walk to Carrera. Gregerson still rubbing up the baseball before facing Ryan Goins. Goins is 1 for 3. Well, if Travis misses any period of time, that could be a significant loss for the Blue Jays. Having to leave this game with a shoulder problem. Edwin Encarnacion comes out to the on-deck circle.
You don't want him coming to the plate with a couple of men aboard.
No, that's not the way you draw it up. Strike 1 to Goins. Encarnacion has just some kind of power, and he's hit 8 homers this year. Foul, and it's no balls, 2 strikes. The Angels lead it in Baltimore. It's 2-1 after 7. Boston has the 2-1 lead at Seattle after 3. Nelson Cruz had the big game winner last night for the Mariners with a walk-off. Goes foul. Goins staying alive, and no balls, 2 strikes. This AL West is getting a little bit wider split apart between Houston and last place Oakland. Oakland trailing by 10.5 coming into play today, and Oakland leads currently 2-0 over the White Sox after a couple.
I love when you talk that way, Ronnie.
Boy, it's 10.5 game margin. That's the second largest of all the major league divisions. Only St. Louis leading Milwaukee by 11.5. Has a bigger lead over the 5th place club in its division. The shot just fouled. But Oakland was labeled a possible contender by some people, and the A's, the way they run their ball club, Ash, as you well know, with Billy Beane, it wouldn't be surprising, if they continued this for the next 3-4 weeks to see some kind of a major restructuring there.
Good heavens, they major reconstruct when they've won a division.
That's true. It doesn't take much of a reason at all for them to reconstruct. Just off the plate, Gregerson throws ball 1. Had a little hop there as he looked in on the Clint Fagan call, and it's 1-2.
Close, but not on the plate.
Colby Rasmus is shading to left center. Owens looks at it. It's 2-2. Gregerson just turned 31 a couple of days ago. He's from Illinois, Park Ridge. Went to St. Xavier University, where he got a criminal justice degree. 28th round draft choice of the Cardinals in 06. That's a foul ball. And Luke has been primarily a setup man in his career. Coming into this season, he had 19 major league saves. And Chad Qualls really picked up the bullpen, though, by pitching well the last 3 days.
Chad had that big 1-2-3 ninth inning to close out game 1 of the series.
Big got his fourth save in the 6-4 win. Ball right field. Springer backing on it. Springer on the warning track for the catch. 2 outs.
Yeah, for me, that's a big out. Obviously, the key second out of the inning. But to keep that extra man off of base for Edwin Encarnacion, he's not a guy you want to take a swing at tying the game.
Well put.
There's a brief moment where this ball provided a bit of a scare. There's your reasoning off the end of the bat.
Now Encarnacion, with this crowd standing, comes up as the pinch hitter for Tolleson. 232, 8 homers, 22 runs batted in, and 138 at bats. He has not been used as a pinch hitter yet this season. Encarnacion 1 for 7 in this series. He hit a first inning homer Thursday night off Roberto Hernandez. Sliders right on the edge for strike 1.
I think I disagree with that call, says Edwin. It's really close. Great pitcher's location.
Yep. That's a foul. 0-2 for Luke Gregerson. One more, the youngster says. This appreciative audience hoping this is the 4th straight Astros win. It would be a 24-13 start to the season. And he stays alive. Last time the Astros led their division by 4.5 games or more prior to this year was in September of 2001. The '99 club also started 23-13. This is the best 36-game start since that team. Drive left field. This one's going to soar out. That's a bomb way up on the railroad tracks. A 2-run pinch homer for Encarnacion, and it's 6-5 as he hits number 9 of the season. That's 24 runs batted in for Encarnacion, and he whacked the 0-2 pitch high and out. Now it's a 1-run lead.
And that 1-run lead now brings powerful Josh Donaldson to the plate. This looked to me like a slider that just kind of hung through the heart of the plate. Edwin had no doubt about whether this was going to stay in the park. He just wondered how far out it was going to go.
Up on the tracks. Now Donaldson. Fly ball off the end of the bat to left center field. Preston Tucker is there. The Astros win it. They survive the Encarnacion pinch hit 2-run homer in the 9th, and they win it by 1 to start the season 24-13. That's tied for the best 37-game start in club history. They did it in 72, in 98, 99. They do it in 2015 to extend their winning streak to 4. Final score, the Astros 6 and the Blue Jays 5.